Hi, everyone. Welcome to AC Day 1. I hope you enjoyed that little pick-me-up music this morning. And I see more attendees are joining us this morning, so that's awesome. Our numbers are at 133 right now. So welcome AC Day 1, everyone. And this is your session for a guide to getting and staying organized. We are thrilled you're here, and we are so excited to kick off the fall semester with you. We have a ton of exciting free events for you today, and all of the details can be found on the Algonquin College orientation website. And if you haven't had a chance to see the full website, we'll be adding the link to the chat right now. So to kick things off, my name is Bonnie, and I am the Special Events Officer at Algonquin. And before we get started, I just want to go over a few housekeeping items with you. This session is closed captioned, so if you do require that, along the bottom of your screen, just click the CC button there for you. And we do ask all of our attendees to stay muted during the session, but we do encourage you to keep your cameras on because we want to see your faces, we want to see who's tuning in for AC Day 1, and we want you to connect with each other because it is the start of the fall term. And if you have any questions, feel free to enter it into the chat box there. And one of our event facilitators will definitely be able to help you out. So if you have any questions, any tech questions or any questions about this session, just throw it in the chat box there and we'll definitely be able to help you out. And to begin, we actually have two gifts that we want to give away to everyone. So how we are going to do this is I'm going to give everyone a chance. Please open, if you haven't done so already, open your chat box. And I'm going to be asking a question and we are all going to submit our answers at the same time. So have your chat box open there if you haven't done so already. I believe it's along the bottom of your screen, bottom left or so. And I do still see a few people entering the session, so I'm just going to give it a minute. We have two more people entering into the session here. So everyone have your chat box open and I'm going to ask you a question. Type out your answer, but don't press send yet. We're going to all send our responses at the same time. So the question for you today is, if you could only accomplish one thing today, what would it be? And again, don't press send yet. So if you could only accomplish one thing today, what would it be? So I'll give everyone a couple of seconds to enter in your answer there. Don't press send yet. And this is awesome. I see everyone thinking and putting in their answers right now. Okay, so on the count of 3, we're going to send. So 1, 2, 3, send. Oh my gosh, these answers are just streaming in. So again, the question is, if you could only accomplish one thing today, what would it be? Let's see here. A lot of staying organized. So this is the right session for you today. Stay organized, stay organized. Wow. Have a dinner with my friend, organized, organized, graduating, being confident. This is awesome. And I see so many responses about saying organized here. Perfect. These are awesome answers. Thank you, everyone. And our 2 gift cards today are to Connections, the campus store, and we have a very special guest who's joined us for today's session, and he will be choosing 2 attendees at random who we will be giving the gift cards to. And so we are joined by Algonquin College's President and CEO, Claude Brulé. So I'll give it over to Claude to do his quick little introduction, and then he will also announce the 2 winners. And then we will private message you just to ensure that those gift cards get sent over to our 2 winners today. Over to you, Claude.
Thank you, Bonnie. Good morning, everyone. As Bonnie said, my name's Claude, and I'm your president. I'm delighted to welcome you today virtually to your fall term, your 2020 fall term. And I know this semester is looking really different. If this is your first time in post-secondary, hopefully you've had a chance to interfaced through Zoom in the past. Hopefully this isn't your first time, but if it is, you'll very quickly get used to working with technology because that's how we're going to interface a fair bit of the time this fall. We're going to be operating in hybrid mode, which means that whenever we can, we're going to teach remotely. And for those things that are essential for you, for your hands-on applied learning that you need to have, as per your timetable, you'll be asked to come on campus for those things. So some of you may not need to come on campus at all. Some of you may need to come on campus once in a while. And we'll want to make sure that you're able to do that safely. We're all here to support you, your teachers, your program coordinators, our support staff, everyone in administration are here to help and make sure that you're successful with your semester. So first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for choosing Algonquin College for your post-secondary hopes and dreams. And I look forward to being able to see you either virtually like we're doing now or on campus for those of you who will be able to come on campus. So you've chosen well by choosing Algonquin College. We've got a stellar reputations. We have great programs of studies. And I know I've already welcomed some of you this morning at some of your introductions to your program of studies. So if you're seeing me for the second time again today, hello again. I'm very proud. I hope you feel that pride as well of being part of the Algonquin family. I've been at the college for over 21 years, and the start of the new year for me is always very special. I see students being a little nervous, anxious. I see them over time making lifelong friends, turning your dreams into reality, and getting the career of your dreams after having gone through our program. And I see you grow personally and professionally. So I'm really looking forward to watching your journey. All right, so now it's time to announce our two lucky students who will receive a $50 gift card to our Connections, which is our campus bookstore. So I've picked two names at random here, and I'm going to read them. First name is Jessica Cuttingham. I hope I pronounced that right, Jessica. And the second person is Isha Kotisha. So that's K-O-T-E-C-H-A. So Isha Kotisha. I hope I pronounced that right as well. So our event hosts will be contacting you via chat on the Zoom for the coordinating detail. Again, thank you, everyone. Please continue to chat, ask questions, introduce yourself, learn a ton on this particular session with Carol, and get some great skills for staying organized. Have a great day, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Claude, and congratulations to Jessica and Isha. Be sure to check the check box, and I will be private messaging you both. So again, that's Jessica and Isha. And now, without further ado, I would like to welcome our event facilitator, certified life coach, Carol Blackburn, to lead us through a guide to keep you organized. Carol will share some key tips on how to prioritize, schedule group meetings, and develop routines to help you reach and achieve your goals. Over to you, Carol.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. And thank you, Algonquin College, Claude, Michelle, everybody for inviting me to be here with you today. I'm really excited for you. This is a very unique start to the school season, to your semester. And I think that Algonquin has done a phenomenal job in giving you the tools and resources that you need to get started on the right foot. So thank you, and I really appreciate being here. I am Carol Blackburn. I'm a life coach, entrepreneur. I do workshops like this for all different types of businesses, and I run my own as well, and I'm a motivational speaker. I am also a mom of two, a single mom of two. One I just sent off to school today for the first time, so it's scary, but he's going into grade 7. I have a daughter who's starting grade 9 next week. So I get all the feels about starting school, especially in this new climate that we're in right now. So I'm really excited to be here with you and get started on our topic. So what you can expect today is that we're going to talk about some of the fundamental tips to help getting you started in in establishing really good habits and getting organized for your semester and your year ahead. We're going to be setting intentions, how to set really good intentions for your goals and prioritizing what needs to get done so you can try to avoid overwhelm and some stress and anxiety that comes up with that. We're also going to break it down into action steps that you could take for weekly and monthly goals. And then we're going to do a Q&A at the end. However, I'm an interactive person, so I'm going to probably pause every once in a while to ask if anybody has any questions, because I want it to stay top of mind for you. And I want to be able to ask you to answer any questions that you have and that you're not missing anything. And I want to be here for you. I'm here to serve you. So make sure you have a notepad ready, get your pens ready, get your hands, you're typing out whatever it is, because there's going to be a lot of information that I'm going to send to you here. And I just want you to get what you need out of this. So having really good organizational skills is essential. I can't stress that enough. And I don't want you to feel too overwhelmed about it if you're not sure how to get there, because you're going to develop the skills as you continue to grow. And everybody's very unique in how their mind processes information and how we plan and organize. Your overall quality of life will actually improve the more organized that you are. So to eliminate a lot of stress and anxiety, key points into figuring out really good habits is important. And before we go any further, I'm going to ask Bonnie if she wouldn't mind launching our poll. I just want to get a good understanding of what's happening with what you're doing right now. So, do you currently use a planner, agenda, or a calendar? And if you want to select one of those answers there, paper, agenda, or planner. If you're digital, you use your calendar or apps, both, or none of the above. So I'll give you guys a minute to answer that poll. I know for myself, I like to use both. I'm a paper and digital person, and I'll talk about that and what the importance is for that. Some people are strictly digital, some people are just paper, which is fine. And some people don't have any, which is okay too. We're gonna help get you guys started on that. All right. I think we're good now, Bonnie, if you want to share the results. Wow, okay, look at that. So we have about 30%, which takes the lead, who are paper, agenda, and planner. Digital, you're just coming in at a close 27% of you, which is great. 28% do both, yay. Love it. And we have 14% none of the above, and that's cool. We're good with that. We're going to share some tips, and hopefully you'll be able to get on, one of these, either digital or paper or both, and we'll get you started on some skills. So let's jump into it. So setting yourself up for your success. And some key tips that I want to share with you. And if I keep looking off to my screen here, it's because I have my notes. I have a lot of information to share with you, and I don't want to miss anything. So what I do recommend for those of you who are not using any type of planner, agenda, or calendar is that you do invest in a really good one. Something that potentially has space for you to write down your goals and your to-dos for the month ahead. And I'll share one that I use, which is something that I picked up at Chapters. It's from Fringe, and I'm going to go to a clean sheet here. And what I like about it, I don't know if you could see this, guys, is that it lays out the entire week. Okay, so Monday to Friday, and then you have your weekend. And what I like about it is that I can write down all of my important things that need to be done, appointments, if I have client sessions, if I have any important content that I need to write for my social media, whatever it is that's pertaining to my business, I have it laid out. And so I could see the week as it's as it's laid out, and that I'm not putting any guesswork into what's happening, and I don't catch myself off guard. If there's something really important happening on Thursday and I'm just focusing on Monday or Tuesday, seeing the whole week laid out gives us some really good insight into how we're visualizing how our week's going to go, and that we're actually subconsciously preparing ourselves for what's coming down throughout our week. So I really do really recommend you invest in a good one. I know that they do have specific planners for students. So you can look online, Indigo or any, type in like student planners for 2020, 2021. And I know that they have them available. Again, if they have the week laid out, then that is beneficial. So then that way you can really focus on ensuring that all of your events are put in place. I also, and this is just a small tip, when you're writing in your planner, use a pencil, because there's going to be a lot of erasing and changing and moving things around, and you don't want to have ink all over it. It looks messy. You're white, using a lot of whiteout, or if you don't have it available, that's a small tip, is that I use a pencil so that I can erase things if I need to move any of my to-dos or appointments around. When you use a calendar efficiently, it really frees up a lot of space in your brain. Okay, so you're not relying on memory to make sure that you're getting everything done, because that can be very stress inducing over time, especially if you have assignments, if you have group meetings, if you have a call with your professor or another peer that you need to get in touch with, or if you have to work, whatever it is, all of these things take up a lot of space in your brain. So if you transfer that to a place that you can rely on to look at throughout the day, it takes the stress of having to remember everything. And so it's really important that you use that efficiently. And so what I like to do as well is I like to have my phone. So my calendar in my phone is also my digital reminder of all the important events that are coming up as well. So I flip between both. I make sure that my digital, if you're out and you need to set an appointment, it goes into your phone. And then when I get home, I transfer everything to my paper agenda. So I use both hand in hand. Another good tip that you want to ensure that you have is you want to have a designated workspace wherever you are studying. And that is your desk, whether it's in the corner of your bedroom or in your living room, wherever that is. A designated workspace helps to keep you organized. It helps to keep all of your things in one place, and it just keeps you on track with not having to blend your at-home learning with your home life as well. All of us have had to really adjust to working and learning from home. And sometimes if it blends too much with our living space, we can feel out of sorts. So having a designated workspace is really important. And I know it can be a challenge, especially if you're living in shared accommodations. But just having a nice little desk, have all your stuff, your tools, everything you need for school, is really important to have it in one space. And that way you don't lose your stuff. It's not going astray, getting blended in with someone else's things if you're living with someone else, or if you live at home, or whatever the case may be. One of the questions come here: do you have recommendations for calendar apps? I use the one I use the one right on my iPhone. It works really, really good for me. And the Google Calendar works well if you have that. There are other apps out there, but I say simple as possible. Keep it simple. So if you already have an app on your phone, you don't necessarily need to download anything new. Just learn how to use yours to its fullest. So adding reminders or alerts if you have a class that's starting, and you need to make sure that you're at your workspace to get ready for your class. I usually set a 10-minute alert before anything. And I know that your school also has online learning and resources, your workspace where you're actually doing your programming. So make sure that you're checking all the functionalities that they have to offer as well. So you can utilize whatever is going to work best for you. Okay, I hope that answers your question. All right. Okay, so here's another tip for getting and staying organized is try to establish a really good daily routine for yourself, which includes waking up at the same time every day. And this is really important because you're getting your body ready, prepared for what your day looks like. We've all been kind of flip-flop for the last 5.5 months. And, you know, our bodies have not been on a normal rhythm. Some of you may have been, which is phenomenal. I know for our household, we haven't had set times to wake up, go to bed. It's just been all over the place. So we have already started preschool to get back into a normal time to go to sleep and a normal time to wake up. Regardless of when your classes start or when your meetings start, getting good habits of waking up at the same time each day will really, really make a difference for you, and getting quality sleep at the same time. Putting all of your important dates into your schedule should be first and foremost for you. So as soon as you know that you have an event or something is coming up, whether you work your work schedule, if you like to work out, you need to get that in your calendar as well. You're time blocking all of that space so nothing else will take over. You need to prioritize what's important for your day. And so, so if you have a job, a part-time job, and you have a shift on a particular day, you need to block that out. If you have a Zoom meeting with some of your peers, or you have classes throughout your day, time block it. It needs to own its own space so that nothing else can take over. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to check the comments for the chat for any questions. Yeah, color coding. Okay, so somebody asked, do you recommend color coding important stuff in your planner? Would that help in any way? That is absolutely a personal preference. It's something that some people need to color. So if you color code, you could do something like class time. If you have a meeting, if you have work, you can color code. Some people really, really find it helpful because your eye will know, your brain will process your color coding. So absolutely, but it's personal preference. Okay. But yeah, for some people, it really is quite helpful. Okay, so don't forget, I know I already mentioned this, but schedule in your workout time, body breaks, get outside. Online learning can be quite taxing on our bodies, and we need our mental and physical health. So it's really important, even if you just get out for a 20-minute walk or your hour workout or spin or whatever it is, make sure you're moving your body, because there's a mind-body connection that we can't ignore. And especially you're not moving around a campus. You're not moving from classes. You're not, going from your mode of transportation to your building or whatever it is. So just be cognizant of the fact that your body needs that time, and make it a priority every day. 20 minutes to an hour. If you like to do more, go for it, but make sure that's part of your habits and routines as well. I also wanted to ensure that you are eating properly as well. Healthy habits, have snacks ready to go. I am a Sunday meal planner. I prep and cut my vegetables, everything. I plan my meals for the week. I find that extremely helpful because it helps, again, to it takes away the time that you have to stop and meal prep. And it's ready to go. You don't have to put too much thought into it, and you're not ignoring the nutrition that your body needs, again, to support your brain function. So sleep habits, moving, eating properly, all of that helps to support you. It's not just about having a really good planner or a really good calendar. It's overall quality of life. And you will develop really good habits when you just start. Okay, I don't want you to become overwhelmed with doing too much all at once. Make these habits easy for yourself. So if you are someone who likes to wake up first thing in the morning and the first thing that you do is jump online, maybe, grab something to eat, or, take a body break or whatever it is, just to get things moving. Stack those habits so that they become really easy for you. Okay. There's a really good book out there called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it talks about just doing 1% a day, 1% change a day towards your habits, and establishing really good habits is all you need to do in order to see the build of the momentum of really becoming successful in your habits. Habits support everything. You have good habits in place, all the organization will fall into place because you're clear of mind and you know how to prioritize yourself. Okay. So setting your attentions for your academics is important. So this is a good time to grab a journal if you have one. If not, you can get journals from pretty much anywhere. Get a good journal, something with line sheets. No, it doesn't have to be a calendar. And this is a good place for you to stay connected to the whys, your whys around what your academic goals are for this term or for your year. When you understand your whys, you will stay really, really focused on prioritizing and not getting too busied with all the to-dos. That could be quite overwhelming. Okay, so what are your long-term goals? So if you think long-term, and we're gonna break it down to, let's say, semesters, because it's easy. It's there's a start, there's a finish. And for some of you, you may be continuing on into the winter. Regardless, you just need to make sure that you're not thinking too far ahead, because that, again, it can be overwhelming when we want to reduce that. So what are your long-term goals? And your journal is a good place for you to brain dump. Okay, write down the type of experiences that you want to have. Write down, how do you want to grow in the years to come? What do you want to learn? What are your, how do you want to support yourself? Okay, what's going to be good for you? What type of change do you want to see? What are the results that you wish to have? And it's good to have you brain dump, you put it all out on paper, and then from there, you break it down into bite-sized, achievable, manageable goals for yourself. Okay, does that make sense? If you have any questions about that, just drop it in the comments right now. If you'd like, I'll just take a moment. And stay hydrated too, that's very important. Okay, so, and then of course, what resources do you currently have that are going to support you in your goals? And what are the type of resources that you need to look for? Okay, so I know that for many of you who are new, post-secondary, you're just coming out into the college scene, it can be a big transition for you. You're really responsible for making sure that you're staying on track. But if you don't know where you're going, that can be really difficult to understand your whys behind it. And this does take time, but I do recommend that you, stay top of mind. Keep those goals for yourself top of mind. Do we have any questions at this point before we move on?
Hi, Carol, it's Bonnie here. I see Riley just put in a question there right in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about that right now. So Riley writes, any tips on better compartmentalizing when juggling assignments, excuse me, and tasks for classes? That's going to be my next point. We're going to talk about planning for your week ahead, and then we're going to move into planning for your month ahead. So good timing on that one. Okay. So what I tend to do, what's worked very well for me, is that I use Sunday as my planning day for the week coming up. So I look at my class. I don't go to class, but I'm going to speak as if I'm in your shoes. I was once there, it was a long time ago though. So I would look at my course load, what's coming up. What are the most important assignments that need to get done quickly, soon, okay? Because you're already going to have those events in your calendar. We kind of talked about that at the beginning. Those events, okay, your assignment due dates, your online calls, your Zoom calls with your peers or professors, or however it is that you're doing this, it's really important that they take up the space in your calendar, okay? You want to know what your deadline is, okay, if that makes sense. So what you should be doing then is looking at your tasks for the week and saying, okay, so I know I have an assignment due on Friday. How much time am I going to need to work on it? And then you work backwards through your week, okay? So if you know that you have an assignment due on Friday, it's really important that you start working on that, you know, several days or a week in advance. So you time block, again, how much time you need to designate towards that one specific task, if that makes sense, towards that one specific event that you have going on. And that means that you also have to transfer your digital calendar into your planner, if that makes any sense. Again, you want to see what your week looks like. I'm just going to go to the comments because I do see quite a few things in there. Sorry. Okay, one comment says, I find it difficult to organize tasks and events and due dates, personal and any important info all in one place and not get overwhelmed. Okay, that's why, again, it's really important that you time block. So anytime something, if you know in advance what your schedule is going to look like, it needs to live in your calendar. It needs to take up real estate in your calendar. If it doesn't, that's where the overwhelm comes in and you're going to start to miss really important things. That includes personal commitments. That includes shifts at work. It includes, anything that's really important, because if you time block, you're going to look at your day saying, you know what, I can't fit in this coffee with you tomorrow. How about we do it on Thursday because I have more of an opening? You understand? You have to really you have to put boundaries around your time as well. And if school is priority for you, you absolutely have to put that top of list. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Just want to make sure I didn't meet anything. Okay.
Hi, Carol, Bonnie again. There was one more question here.
Yeah?
Any tips on setting goals for things that are not time sensitive?
Yes. And depending on what that goal is, again, writing it down, brain dump. As soon as you put it on paper, it becomes real, okay? It's not just an idea that's floating in your head. It's something that you may not be doing. It may not be starting today or tomorrow. You know it's going to be coming down the road. But again, it's that mind connection that you're making to that goal. When you see it, it starts to take formation, if that makes sense. Okay. So setting your goals for the week, making sure that you're planning your week, and again, prioritizing without overwhelming your day. Okay. So here, I'll give you an example. We all have the endless to-do list of a million things that we need to get done. But what you have to be aware of is what's important that is a priority. So having a to-do list is great because it's running, okay? And that's why in some of these calendars or agendas at the beginning of the month, they have, what are my goals? What is my to-do list? And then what you do then is you take one or two things that are a priority and you make it an event in your day. Does that make sense? So what you're doing is you're breaking it down. You're taking the endless to-do list because some of those things may not be as important, and you want to be able to prioritize what is important. Okay, you will eventually get to that to-do list. However, on the flip side of it, some of those things where you thought were really important, a couple of weeks down the line or a couple of days down the line, you're like, you know what? I didn't need that. I didn't have to do that. That's not something that's important. So it comes off your to-do list or it goes down to the bottom. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, good. Awesome. There's a question, what should you do if you struggle to focus and remember to organize things? Again, it's developing a habit. And if you're not used to it, if that is something that you're not used to, that is something that you develop that habit as it goes, okay? It's something that it's a learned experience. The more you do it, the better you become at it, then it takes up less of the struggle, if that makes any sense, okay? It's just like developing any new habit. You just got to put a little bit of effort into it every day. And that's why I like to use Sundays as my planning day, okay? It kind of gives me a refresh. I think about the week ahead. I'm like, okay, I got a handle on this. I know I've got a heavy load on Thursday and I really got to stay focused, but I'm preparing myself for it. I hope that answers your question. It's just keep at it. Just keep trying and it'll work for you when you make it a part of your daily routine. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so every day you should be looking at your calendar, checking off. Oh, I love red check marks. They are all over. When I get stuff done, like this is my week, okay? It's pretty crazy. And when I do something, I check it off right away. And so what I do is I typically don't put more than 3 really important tasks in my day, okay? Bite size. Don't overwhelm yourself with thinking that you're going to be able to get 10 things done when realistically you can only get 3 things done. So I space my tasks out through the week. If I see that I have a really big gap in one day, then I'm like, okay, that's the day I can use for studying or, writing my assignment or whatever it is. Make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself with too much in one day, because then honestly, you're just setting yourself up for failure and you want to set yourself up for success. Okay. Great. All right. And I have my red check marks. It is so satisfying when I check things off. So use a color. Write in pencil, but use a color that you're going to be like, done, done. And then when you look at your week and you're like, oh, wait, I forgot one thing or I didn't get that done, then you move it into a time block that's going to work for you. Okay. Awesome. Let's keep going here. Again, don't overwhelm yourself with doing too much. Okay. Taking on too much, thinking that you honestly, and I'm talking from experience, that you can conquer the world in one day. It's unrealistic. You have to develop the habits. Okay. I just want to go back to the chat here. What are some good tips for staying organized in a busy work and school schedule along with personal life? I'm worried with online classes, I won't be able to keep myself focused enough, even in my own separate office. I hear you. It can be a bit of a challenge to stay focused, especially when you're doing online. So what I recommend, again, just give yourself the space and the time that you need. Don't think about what the next thing is until you've completed your task. If a priority for your day is to get online and do your course, that is your priority. That is number one, okay? And if you just think of it and you have to like one thing at a time, okay, that will take the anxiety off of you, the stress, and especially when you have a lot of juggling balls in your court, it can be a lot to handle. So that's why it's really important that you time block. Put your phone on airplane mode so that that's not a distraction, which is a huge, huge issue. I do it all the time. If I need to focus, I remove all distractions. I play some music that's going to motivate me lightly in the background because I do a lot of creative writing and I need to stay clear of mine. If my phone's buzzing, if my watch is tapping, if I have, a lot going on, I'm not going to stay focused. And, and again, work has to, it has to go hand in hand with your school as well. So again, set boundaries. Okay. I hope that you got something out of that. If not, just let me know if you need more clarification on that. What snacks would you recommend to have during classes? Great question. Anything that is whole foods, okay? Fruit, veggies, good protein, a protein shake even, something that's going to fuel your body and not completely carb drain you either. So make sure you have lots of healthy snacks on hand that are going to, you know, give you energy, good brain energy, and you know, that you're not going to, you know, sugar rush will just make you crash. Caffeine, I'm a coffee person. I'm never going to tell anybody not to drink it. So if you need it, but don't survive off it. And so, yeah, just have as many whole foods as possible. Okay. I'm going to go to one more point and then I'm going to check. There was a few more comments that came in. Okay. So being online and doing everything virtually, we tend to feel a little bit of seclusion and isolation. It's really important that you try to connect with your peers as much as you can, okay? Even if it's a once a week check-in, or I'm not sure how it works for your programming, if you have group work that you do, or any way that you can connect with people, because when we feel alone, we think that we're the only ones going through what we're going through, trying to juggle and manage everything. So as much as you can, just stay connected. Like I said, once a week even, coffee chats online, meeting in person if it's safe, whatever that looks like for you, okay? And taking frequent breaks throughout your day, move your body, breathe, go outside, get some fresh air, clear your head, whatever you need to do to help support you in all that you have going on in your schedule. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Did I miss anything really important, Bonnie, in the chats?
Dylan had a question here. How do you create a schedule to-do list that is effective but is easy to read?
Okay, so is that digital or paper or both?
I'm gonna say both, unless Dylan wants to update his question there in the chat.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so what I do is, again, I on Sundays, I'm looking at my week ahead. When you handwrite something in your planner, it puts a mind connection to what you need to do. Okay, so you have to, like I said, don't overwhelm yourself with doing too much in one day. Be realistic with what you can accomplish. Okay. I'm just trying to see. I hope that answered it properly. If not, just let me know if I didn't clarify that enough. But you will establish your own way of doing it, of you know, keeping clear notes for yourself. Even if you open a Google Doc, as long as you remember to use your Google Doc every day. If you're not if you don't like to handwrite, you have to make sure that you are using your Google Doc effectively and that you're checking it all the time. My planner stays open on my desk. I never close this thing, never. It stays open constantly, okay? And if you have to use tabs or whatever to color code it, because when it's open and it's on the side of my desk, I'm always looking at it. It's always there. I'm like, okay, I know what's coming up. Oh, I got this presentation today at 10. Then I have some content writing I need to do later on. 2 o'clock, I got to run out and pick up my son from school. See what I mean? Like, so I already know the flow of my day. Okay. 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 So stay connected with your peers. You're not alone in your progress right now. It's going to take some time to get familiarized with this new normal. And the more that you can stay connected with people and have really positive conversations and have compassion towards yourself, the more that you'll be able to really ease into what's happening in our new climate right now. Okay, and then come Fridays is a good day to take a review of your week. Okay, so everybody wants to enjoy their weekend. I am the type of person that come Friday, I want to just shut it down come the end of my day, and I don't want to have to think about and stress over what's what I need to get done over the weekend. So Friday, do a review of your week. What did I accomplish? What do I need to carry over? What's important that I really, really have to focus on, you know, over the weekend? Maybe there's an assignment that's due. Maybe I have to study for an exam or a test that's coming up and I have to put more focus into it. So Sundays, prep for your week. Fridays, do a review. Okay, if that makes sense. I'm going to go to the chat and just make sure I'm not missing anything here.
Carol, Devin had a question here. Could you suggest any tips for students coming into college after graduating from university?
Oh, okay. So I'm assuming you've gotten your university, you're coming into college. A lot of the same, I'm assuming you were on campus for university and now you're doing an online. I know that you already have the skills. If you graduated university, you have the skills to transfer into college and to bring some really new habits. If I can read this correctly, coming into a new program or extending into something that you're transferring, perhaps that's going to support your university degree or whatever that is. Think of it as your fresh start. Okay, develop those habits, especially if you are doing it online. It's a very different experience than being on campus. Okay, so again, just take this as a fresh start for yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself with, you finished university, now you're going into college. Just like many people, we make big transitions throughout our lives. And if you look at the end goal, what is your goal? Why did you do this? Why did you choose to go to university, to college? What is your end result with this next phase of your life? Make sure your intentions are set around that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay. What is your best advice you can give those just coming into college from high school? Well, that's a big one. And I know there's a lot of you in here who are just coming out of high school. First and foremost, congratulations on finishing high school and coming into this next big phase of your life. I know you didn't get the experience that a lot of high school graduates normally get. Again, this is a brand new opportunity for you, okay? Stay connected, reach out to your professors, learn. Whatever resources the college is giving you, look into it, tap into that, okay? It's there for a reason, and you don't wanna feel like you're slipping behind because you may not know something. Every new student coming out of high school into post-secondary education feels the same way that you feel. You may feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's not a lot, I feel like you're not being, you're an adult now, like high school years are done and now it's time to level up. Excuse me. So it's taking ownership of that. Be proud of that, but you're not alone in thinking that you don't have to know and have it all together. And if you need the help, get it. Go and find it. Those resources are there for you, and you need to be able to tap into that, okay? Stay organized, stay on top of your school, and if you're having trouble, reach out, okay? The school is there to support you in any way that they can, okay? Excuse me. Okay, so Fridays, review. Check off what you got done. Transfer over what needs to be done. Again, assess what your priorities are. If things are not important, what's important for you? Your schooling, assignments, tests. If you have to juggle, if you have a lot happening all at once, you need to prioritize your time. Okay, how much time can I spend on this course? How much time do I need to spend on this one? Because if you try to bottleneck everything, that's when it gets quite overwhelming. Okay. Okay, and then, excuse me, the next phase is to plan ahead for your month, okay? And now this is kind of like your big picture, okay? What are your goals for the month? Do you know what assignments, due dates, activities, exams, group meetings, what's coming up for your month, okay? Again, the further ahead that you can time block, the better it is for you to sort of make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself with too much in a day. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm just going to go into the chat and make sure there's nothing that I'm missing.
Hi, Carol, Bonnie again. A common theme that I saw in the last few questions seems to revolve around people who haven't been in school for a really long time and they're trying to jump back into it. So for example, they worked for a while or, you know, just transitioning and they're, you know, back in a new kind of college environment. Do you have any tips and advice on just how to stay organized and really, you know, jump back into, you know, the education?
Yeah. For anyone that is coming out of the workforce and going back to school, kudos. I mean, that is amazing. There are so many people that are doing this. I know for myself, I made a major career change in my early 40s, and it can feel really scary. It can feel very intimidating. You know, it's like you have to relearn what you used to be able to do. It's a very different environment now. So again, give yourself the time to understand what resources are available to you, okay? It's a mind shift. You're changing the way that your mind is going to be taking in information. If you were working for a long period of time and now you have to transition into school full-time, let's say, or even part-time, ensuring that you spend the time you need in terms of setting your goals, again, your whys, what are your intentions around what you want to accomplish, okay? And again, you're not alone in this. There are a lot of people who are coming back into second, third, fourth careers and they have to go back to school or even to gain more education in their particular field, whatever the case is. Just make sure that you are using the tools and resources that are available to you through the college, and time block. Again, especially if you have a family at home and you need to have quiet time and space to work, if you have children, whatever the case may be, it can be a bit of a juggle. But if you dedicate a certain amount of time during your day that is non-negotiable time, then you will start to get yourself into the habit of prioritizing that time for your school. Again, everything is building on habits, okay? Don't think too far ahead of yourself. Focus on what you need to accomplish now. Because if you think about too much and that you need to get your major to-do list done, it's going to be too overwhelming, okay? Chunk it down. What are the small steps that I need to do today to get me to tomorrow that you continue to build? It's like a step, okay? It's like stairs. You just continue building, okay? Okay. I know we're probably coming down to the end of our time, so I'm going to just go over a few more points and then I'll do a quick Q&A as well, okay? So the purpose of having a good planner, whether it's online or digital, and a good calendar is to keep track of your events, okay? It's to keep track of what your events are. The purpose of a good journal is to keep track of your tasks, your ideas, your goals, your to-dos, and your priorities. It's a brain dump, okay? Don't just rely on keeping everything stuffed up here. I have to see it on paper, and then I start to transfer it over into actionable steps, okay? Bite-sized, actionable steps. That makes sense, okay? And the beauty about having a paper journal is that it's not competing for your attention. All the other millions of apps that we have on our phones are constantly sending you notifications, and we become desensitized to that. So having a paper journal helps to eliminate, the desensitization that we've had around apps. They're a good tool to use to support other aspects of what you're doing. A good journal and a good planner or a calendar agenda, however that, whatever you end up using, okay? And again, working through your to-dos, prioritizing, what needs to get done, time blocking, stay healthy. If you're working, making sure that your shifts are not going to overlap with your schooling, because you have to understand what's important. And yes, we all need to earn a living, And if you're a student that has to work, you know, it's a lot to carry, but you also have to be realistic with what your intentions are and stay focused with that, okay? If your intention is to graduate and to move on to something bigger in your career, then, you know, perhaps your part-time job is going to support you through that, but is that your long-term goal? Does that make sense? Okay. We're going to do a few more questions. I'm just going to kind of work backwards here. Or Bonnie, if you see anything that I missed that's really important.
Yeah, Carol, I have a fun one here that I'm kind of interested to hearing the answer
Sure.
for. Riley had written, for one who is an avid video gamer, how do we balance the reward system? How do you turn like your favorite pastime from a distraction into a well-deserved output of happiness?
Awesome. That's a great question. It is a reward. And so what I like to do is when I have a lot that I need to get done in my week, okay, I use my reward, like I set my goals, and when I reach those goals, that's when I reward myself, if that makes sense. So if I know that I have to do content writing and I have sessions and I have a lot of things that are priority, when I reach that, when I'm like, yes, I checked it off with my red pen, then I'm like, I'm going to reward myself with something. And it can be a bit of a transition to go from having a lot of time on gaming to making it something that you look forward to once your priorities have been taken care of. Okay, so use that as your end goal. That makes sense. Your check mark. I got all my check marks. Yes, let's do this. I hope that's helpful. Any other questions that just looking through the chats.
And I guess a follow-up for that one is, should we schedule time in our planners to reward ourselves? Should we actually block it into our calendars?
You know what? Leave the spontaneity. I kind of like to leave that spontaneous because the trouble with that is that you may not be able to put your full attention to all of the other tasks that you have to do. And then it kind of, you're gonna like skim by it, let's just say, because you know that at the end of the week I'm going to be able to get my reward. Does that make sense? So you may not put your full effort into what needs to get done. You really got to put your heart and soul into everything that you're doing, right? And you want to be able to accomplish it with your full attention. And so when we know that, oh well, I just got to get it done so I can reach my reward, then we're not really putting a lot of intention. It's a balance, so just be careful with that, okay? But I don't necessarily block out the time for my reward until I've accomplished my task.
Perfect, Carol. I am conscientious of time because I know quickly this hour has flown by, and I know there is amazing AC Day 1 programming still in place.
Yeah.
So I would like to take this time to thank you, Carol, for all of that useful information. And I've definitely taken down a few notes. I have my list here that I like to highlight instead of checking off.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. And on behalf of Algonquin College, we want to give all of our students a huge thank you for participating. Thank you for, taking that next step and, wanting to learn about, not learn, but hone in on your skills on staying organized. Yeah. And if you are interested in rewatching the session with Carol, Jess, our event facilitator, will be putting the link there in the chat. And I'm also going to plop in here Carol's social media. So feel free to follow her. She has Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all of those fun things. And there was a few questions about the book that Carol had mentioned in, and there was also our event facilitator Jess had put in the information for that book there as well. So thanks again, everyone. Thank you, Carol. Lots of tips to keep in mind that I'm going to continue pushing forward. And thanks again to all of our students, and stay tuned for the rest of the AC Day 1 programming, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Thank you.
Perfect. And I'm just giving a chance for everyone to leave the chat, leave the Zoom meeting before I close this session here.
Thanks so much, Bonnie. I really appreciate being here. I hope there was some good info in there. I know there was a lot.
It was awesome, Carol, and there were so many amazing questions that came in too. So thank you so much. And after this session, I am going on my Instagram and
absolutely. I'm always putting tips and all kinds of stuff in there. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Take care. Good luck, everyone. Take care. Bye.
And I see a few of us are still in this session. I'm going to give it one more minute before I close the session for everyone. So feel free to log off soon or now. Jess, I'm just going to close the session now. And thanks again to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.